What's up, Prop Mob? Eduardo Talbert here. This is Monster Tutorials. Today we have a really cool tutorial, kind of spooky, but it's something I wanted to do, and it is a spooky eyeball tumbler, a resin tumbler is what they call it. I never thought I could do this, but it turned out awesome, as you can see. So that's what we're going to do today. So a quick story on how we got to this point of making a spooky tumbler is that I wanted to make some fancy eyeballs, as you know, and I wanted to find a way to make something to turn them so I could coat them with resin to make them as realistic as possible. So one thing led to another. I learned how to make a turner to turn the eyes, and while I was learning about turners, I got caught the bug about people making like their own tumblers. I was like, that looks pretty cool. So I built a turner to handle both cups and creepy stuff like eyeballs and teeth and so on. So there's a separate video for how I made the turner, the tumbler turner, or creeptisserie or cuptisserie. But in this tutorial, we're going to use that, and we're making a really cool stainless steel, resin covered, spooky tumbler. Let's get started. For this project, we're going to use the cheap tumblers. This one is from Harbor Freight. This one is from Walmart, and then there's links below for the plain ones in Amazon. I like the plain ones better because this one has a logo right there, and this one has ridges, which you may not want, so Amazon has them plain if you want. So first step we're going to do is clean this up. Alright, so this will have like some dirt, smudges, and everything on the outside, and maybe even a coating, and we need the paint to stick to this. So I'm taking some of these sanding pads, that's a 400 grit, and just lightly sanding it, cleaning it up really good. That's nice and scuffed there. Now I'm going to use this handle for my cup turner, which I made myself. There's a link for that tutorial below on how to make the cup turner, just to make it easy to hold it. Now I'm going to use some isopropyl alcohol and clean it really well so it's ready for paint. This will remove any grease or smudges or any machining mold release or from the stamping machine that may have been deposited in the stainless steel. Now this guy right here is nice and clean. So the first step for this particular design is white. So white's going to be the base coat. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in the garage and I'm going to spray paint the outside of this. There you go. Now I'm going to set it here on this clamp, and we're going to let it dry all the way. Now what's going to make this tumbler different from all the others is the spookiness, and that means that it will have some eyeballs. And for that, I have a piece of just regular vinyl, cheap kind, peel and stick, and I bought a punch, a 1-inch punch, because most eyeballs are about 1 inch in diameter. So when we print those eyes there, they'll look like normal sized eyeballs. I'm going to punch a bunch of vinyl circles to put on the cup. Alright, see that? That is perfect. So let's cut a bunch of these. For this next step, I'm going to take the little circles of vinyl and just glue them all around the tumbler. Just make it random or in a pattern, it's up to you. There you go. And just all over the place. one more down here. So I got all the stickers on there, all the little circles. Try to space them as random as I can, but oh well, it's supposed to be random anyway. So the next step now is I'm going to take these colors, and these colors are up to you, but I want this to be pretty Halloween-y, so I went with orange and purple. And I'm just going to spray circles all over the tumbler until it's totally covered, until you cannot see any white. So let's do that in the garage. Check it out. So there it is. I just spray painted purple and orange. Now I'm gonna let this dry all the way, and then we do the coolest step. Now while that tumbler dries, I have some printouts of irises. Actually, if you want a copy of this, there's a link below where it says irises. I'll link to that file. I'm going to start cutting out. I think we had 20 eyes, maybe 25. I'm gonna cut about 30 of them out. I wish I had a punch, but I don't. So I'm just going to hand cut them, whichever irises that I like. Time for the next step. For this next step, what I'm going to do is we're going to take some sort of like a dishwashing fluid, soap, something kind of viscous, and we are going to drizzle it in whatever pattern that we want. Most people do it horizontally because usually the tumbler spinner goes like this, so the pattern turns to be horizontal, but you can do whatever pattern. I might do it vertical, I might do crisscross, doesn't matter. So I'm going to drizzle some of the soap on top, and while the soap, before it scurries off, we're going to spray paint it with flat black. Look at this. How cool is that finish? That is great. All right, I'll let this like dry all the way, and we go to the next step, which is we're going to start peeling off the little vinyl circles, and we can start adding some of these irises that I just cut out onto it. All right, next step, we're going to very carefully peel the little vinyl circles that we applied earlier. So you just grab the vinyl circle and very carefully peel it off. There you go. Let's do that all around. All your circles pop out. So now I'm going to take the irises that I cut out, these guys right here, and basically we're going to slack them on. You can probably do stickers on vinyl, which I'll try next time, but this being my first tumbler, I didn't think ahead. So I'm just going to use Mod Podge, which is an awesome sealer anyway. Just put some in the middle there. Then we'll drop the iris that you want. Just like that. And go ahead and seal the top as well, because that will stop the resin from seeping into the paper. Just like that. Now let's do it all around the cup. All right, check it out. So all those eyeballs have been glued with the Mod Podge. So I'm gonna let this dry all the way, and then we'll get to the cool part, which is the resin. We still have to put a sticker on it, but other than that, we're going to go to the resin part, which is really cool. The Mod Podge is nice and dry. This is ready. I'm just going to put a sticker on this one. I was going to put this Prop Mob green one right here. I think it will look cool, but it would clash too much color. So I got my other Monster Tutorials one that matches the colors. I'm going to use that one and put it right there. And these Monster Tutorial stickers are vinyl, so they are like weatherproof and pretty good quality, not the paper ones. Now for the final part, we gotta cover this with resin. So this is the really cool part. For that, I'm going to use my tumbler turner or crepe tisserie. Now this thing is a crepe tisserie or a cup tisserie or a tumbler turner. I made this myself, and there is a video for this as well, and it's linked below. So go check it out. And what this will do is it will turn the tumbler slowly while the resin cures. That way the resin doesn't pool on one side or the other. Right? And the way it works is you take your tumbler, get it nice and secure, and put it here through the bushing. We're going to secure it really well here on the bottom. And you might have to use a little tape here because you're going to leave this running for about 4 hours or 8 hours, whatever long it takes for the resin to cure. Okay, so if you're doing this overnight, there's nothing worse than this coming loose at 3 in the morning, this tumbler falling to the ground and waking you up thinking that there is somebody in your house. And the way that I designed this one, it has 2 switches. So we can run one or both. And the other purpose of that was to turn things like eyes. So I have an eye attachment, see that alien eye? If I wanted to coat that with epoxy, I can mount it right here. Same thing. Just plug this and I'll show you how it works. So switch number 1. There it is. Switch number 2. So if I wanted to coat this with a clear coat to make it shiny and creepy when I'm making eyes, that's what I'm going to be using this thing as well. That's why I call it that crepe tisserie. But we're making a cup today. So let's move on with the cup. We're going to set this up here, and we're going to go get the resin. I also put a tray under it in case, the resin drips. It drips on the tray. And this particular design, since it does 2, it also has the ability to do 2 cups at once. So for today's resin, for today's coating, we're going to use a new product from Alumilite. It's Amazing Quick Coat Epoxy. It's a 2-part epoxy, 1-to-1, that is really good for coating thin areas. This is not for like deep pours, like if you're making like a big thick casts. This is better for thin coats like this. And this, according to the bottle, is tack-free in 4 to 5 hours. That doesn't mean it's cured, but it's tack-free. That's pretty quick, and then full cure in 3 to 5 days. So what I'm going to do is mix these guys 1-to-1. We're going to then turn the tumbler on, And we're going to pour it and rub it on using gloves, of course. You don't want resin on your hand. And let it turn for about 4 hours, at which point we'll come back and see if we need another coat to make it thicker. Those coats will hide some of the blemishes here, and this will shine really nice. You'll see how good it looks. Let's get started. I'm going to measure these by weight. Now, one thing I recommend for the resin, I mean, this is perfect if you're mixing the whole thing, but to pour it perfectly is kind of hard. So get some of these or these from the dollar store and just bottle it in there because it's so much easier to meter the dose with this. So I'm going to mark A and B here, and I'm going to just rebottle it just for ease. A and B. Scale is on. Use a cup. Zero it out, and let's start with part A. Alright, I'm doing 10 grams of part A, so we're going to do 10 grams of part B. Alright, gloves on. We're going to mix this thoroughly with a popsicle stick. Now you have 20 to 25 minutes of working time, which means you can have all the time to mix it up really well. This is thoroughly mixed. I'm going to turn on the cup turner. Alright, and I secured it with a little piece of tape. This will hold it so it doesn't pop out during the 4 hours. And we're just going to kind of drizzle this resin all over and then spread it with our fingers. And we're spreading it nice and even. Here at the top, just smooth it out towards the edge. But going up is a little bit better than going down. That way you don't get resin inside of the cup. And this resin will try to self-level. So the tumbler turner, gravity, and the resin will do the rest of the work. That looks great. Leave it for 4 hours. I'll see you in a bit. Now, while that tumbler is turning, I want to take a minute and say thank you to all my patrons. Thank you for your support. It is because of you that I can buy the materials and the stuff to make these projects. I also wanted to remind you guys that I live stream on Twitch every Tuesday, Thursday from 4 till 6. Okay, so if you have any questions about this project, any other project, about the challenges or anything, jump in the live stream and ask away because I answer the questions in real time. All right, let's get back to that project. And also, now wait a second, for the Patreons, I'm going to start taking some of the stuff that we make in this channel and doing probably monthly giveaways. So anyway, patrons, thank you. All of you watching, thank you. Let's get back to the show. I let this tumbler turner rotate for about 4 hours. I came and checked it and it looked great, so I just left it. So now it's been overnight, it's been 24 hours. I think we're good to go. It doesn't look like I need another coat, so let's look at the results. I'm gonna do a nice slow shot of this for you guys, but we need some housekeeping. We gotta clean up all this stuff, so I'm going to go get some acetone and we will rub the inside of this. There is no visible, or I can't even feel any resin on the edge, so that's pretty clean as it is. But let's get some acetone and clean the inside so this thing is ready to go. Don't let this stuff get on your resin because it will dissolve the resin. Just getting the excess paint, as you can see. Leave it nice and clean. That is perfect. Now let's do some cool shot of this cup. That turned out awesome, huh? I love how it turned out. But that's how you make a creepy eyeball tumbler. I hope you like this. If you like it, give it a thumbs up. If you like this kind of spooky projects and also creepier ones like props and Halloween stuff, consider subscribing. Again, my name is Eduardo Talbert. We're all the Prop Mob, and I will see you on the next time.